The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Welcome to the Support Local Everything podcast, a podcast of the Upward Niagara Chamber of Commerce. I'm Chamber President Jennifer Pauly, and I'm here today with a special guest. We'll bring her in just a few moments. She's a board member, and we're excited to have her. But before we do that, before I introduce her, we had the opportunity last night to attend the Niagara County Legislature meeting, and it was a special meeting honoring the Sheriff's Department and foster families, and it was just a great evening. But one of the highlights of the evening was the William G. Main Community Enhancement Grant, and that is made possible through the Niagara Falls Bridge Commission alongside the Niagara County Center of Economic Development, along with the Niagara County Legislature. And 17 business organizations were there, and they presented their projects in a grant application months ago. And last night was when the legislator was able to award those grant opportunities. So we were there and received a grant alongside some of our member associations, the Niagara Wine Trail, the Sanborn Business and Professional Association, the Ransomville Business and Professional Association, and the Youngstown Business and Professional Association. Those were just a few out of all of these 17 organizations. So we're excited about what's to come for those organizations. A lot of them use those funds for beautification, for marketing, for business promotion of the business districts, and it will be exciting throughout the rest of the summer to see those plans unfold. They have until October to complete the projects that they submitted and turn everything in. So we'll see that throughout the region, and very happy to be a part of that. We took some photos, so if you want to see some of the photos of the big checks, that was definitely a highlight. Go to our social media pages or the website, upwardniagara.com, and we have them posted there. Other than that, it was a busy weekend last weekend with Niagara University's graduation as well as SUNY Niagara graduation. So congratulations to all of those graduates. It was a busy time throughout the region with families coming in from out of town celebrating. And, besides Mother's Day, which was the big event this past Sunday, it was a great weekend in Niagara County. So looking forward to this coming weekend as we get ready for the busy tourist season. It's hard to believe that next weekend is already Memorial Day weekend. Can you believe that? Time is flying by. Well, at this time, we're ready to bring on our special guest, Sara Liberale with the Alpha Align Agency. And I have to say, just full disclosure, she's also a board member of the Upward Niagara Chamber of Commerce, serving as the first vice chair. She is the founder and CEO of Alpha Align. She is an educator as a former special education teacher, and she has successfully grown a retail brand, leading her into the current role where she helps businesses. Sara, thanks for joining us this morning. We're so happy to have you on.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
So you are a full-service social media marketing agency now. You help businesses with their brands, their social media, grow their digital marketing. It's such a pivot from being an educator, and that's where you started. So tell us about your journey, how you reached this point where you are today.
Of course. So I feel like my origin story is something that I tell on repeat, but I, as you already mentioned, was a teacher. I worked in the Niagara Falls City School District for 11 years. And I didn't love it. And I feel like it's kind of a jerk sometimes when I say that I didn't love it, but it just didn't light me up. And I knew that I couldn't. I looked at my husband one day and I was like, I can't do this for 20 more years. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I am a shopaholic. I'm going to have a store. And I opened a clothing store out of my living room. I was packing and shipping orders literally on my dining room table with boxes all over literally it was chaos. And you fast forward and I grew that beyond my wildest dreams. I never anticipated that store turning into what it did. And, I bought a building. We own a building on 411 Center Street, which is now, it's still retail, but it's not my retail because I went online only. And I had people just organically asking me, like, how did I do this? Can I help them? Can I help them with their website, with their social media, with running ads, with all those things? So I'm like, maybe I have something here. So I said out loud I was doing it, and I had like a full client roster within like 30 days. Right now, I'm literally on a wait list. So it's wild to see. I'm bringing on my first employee who started. She starts Friday. So like it's just wild to see that something pivoted so far from where it even began. But yeah, that's kind of my story.
I love that story. I didn't know you personally as an educator. I've heard the great stories that you were such a great educator, but I have seen you grow from retail into where you are today. And it's been such a great opportunity for, I just think, the business community to watch you and to see where you've successfully grown in one area and use that to where you are today. It just shows you can do anything. Really, you can do anything. And the experience that you have helped in retail and teaching helped where you are today to just have a full circle experience of helping a business, helping an organization get to where they need to with their marketing. You've grown your social media presence, in your other business, and that translates into what you do today. It's just such a great thing to have watched you over the past couple years, to have known you, and to have you involved in the business community. We're so happy to have you as part of our board. So when it was time to have a podcast today, I'm like, we're going to get Sara on. We're going to make sure that we listen to her story and how she helps people and helps businesses succeed. And a wait list? I mean, come on, a wait list? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. And my husband actually keeps joking, like, what's your next business? Because I feel like you've been quiet. Like, I feel like you're starting something new. So, because
That's
that's just
okay.
me in my brain, but nothing yet. I'm still doing this.
So when somebody is approaching you, what is usually the ideal client that you're working with? How do people find you? Is it word of mouth? Do they already have a business? Are they starting a business? Tell us the path of your client.
So it's funny because it's all of those things. A lot of it is word of mouth. A lot is past clients, or like current clients will refer to me to their other business owners. Some are people that just happen to know me personally or watch me grow and scale. I mean, a couple of my new clients literally were like, I saw what you did with Rose Hanger. Can you help me? Like, that's what most people actually say to me, which is a really cool feeling, to be honest. But then it, like, I have people where I'm like, I literally ask them, like, how did you find me? And they're like, Google, which SEO. But yeah, so it's a mixture of everything. And to be honest, I work with everyone. I mean, my main focus was always women-owned businesses, just as a woman, and just always, that's just always been my thing. However, I mean, I do have a few guys in there. I'm not like, no, I won't work with you because you're a male. But women is obviously my target demographic. And I mean, I have everything from clothing stores to med spas to gyms to a marina concierge to, I mean, you name it, I'm working with them. Like, it's like, raw dog food. Like, I have so many different niches that I work in, which is really cool because I get to see the behind the scenes of businesses that are so different than mine. But at the end of the day, the marketing, the advertising, all kinds of, aligns together.
It does. And you have a website with all of that information on it, but you yourself as a business also have to maintain social media and email lists, and you also have to do the branding and the marketing for your own business. How do you juggle the two?
Well, if you look at my social media, you can see that lately I've been not doing great because I'm so busy with my clients that my own social media takes the backseat. I am putting in some like workflows into place, especially with me bringing on my first employee, where I'm going to be able to kind of like have like set days for content creation, because I also have a podcast that I haven't posted on in months. My social media has been, I actually posted something the other day that I was like, I'm alive and well, as a joke, but like people were like, we miss your face, because I just have not been present like I have been in the past. And people are like, confused as to why they're not seeing my face every day on socials, because that was
But
just
you're
what they're so used to.
you're so busy taking care of everybody else. And I'll tell you, as a mother of 4 children, I'm a musician. None of my children are musicians. Some of them play instruments, but what is it? The what's the saying? Something about, well, you get what I mean. You kind of take care of everybody else, and then, you're last on the priority list sometimes, right? That's what happens. But it's so exciting to hire your first employee for this, and being able to move some things off your plate so you can focus on what you do best, and and let them pick up some of the side parts of the business that will grow back up.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing about scaling is that like I have a hard time letting go of control, but there's things that I don't have to be doing. Like there's definitely aspects of the business that are me. Like, when it comes to like running ads and spending clients like ad budget and that kind of stuff, like that's still remaining 100% me. But like little things like clearing my inbox that has 42 emails since we started this podcast, or even some of like my writing, where I'm going to obviously review and make sure everything is how it's supposed to be, but like getting some of that stuff that doesn't have to be me doing it off of my plate, so I can focus on what I need to be doing to grow and scale my business and my clients' businesses.
What does a typical meeting with you entail? When you're first meeting with that client, how do you scope out what their needs are? What does that first meeting look like?
So a lot of times people come to me because their main thing is they want help with social media management. However, I'm getting away from only doing social media management for clients as a standalone service. And this is the reason why. Social media is great. You need to be on social media. However, it is very difficult to show an ROI, a return on your investment, for an Instagram post. So with someone paying me to help them on Instagram without seeing the tangible, I paid Sara X and I made X in response, it's really difficult to almost keep clients, there's no other way to say it, keep clients happy. Where if I'm doing something additional like SEO and Google management or website or running ads, where I can say like, hey, I got you. I have a MedSpa client who I got 22 leads so far, and it's May 15th, and they have all those people booked on their calendar because of their ad. I also do their social media because that's important, but I can't say I got you 22 new clients because I posted something on your Instagram, but I can say
Right,
that.
that makes
So
complete sense. Complete
it's
sense.
it's so that's usually where the meeting starts. Is I don't know what to post on Instagram, and it goes to I'll help you, but I want to do something that's going to make you money. So let's talk about how we can actually put money in your bank account and not just have some vanity likes and shares. And yes, will someone maybe come buy from you, sign up with you because they saw your Instagram post? Sure, but there's no guarantee. Instagram is, I think of as more of like an awareness campaign. And even though it's not a campaign, it's like more of that awareness aspect. And then you have to figure out how to nurture them into being clients and customers.
Yes, that's such a great point. And after we're done here, we're gonna delve into some tips. But you just gave a great tip there. So after social media, what's the next possible step? Their website? Is that usually where that conversation leads into?
So I've been going really deep with a lot of my clients about the importance of not just your website, but your SEO. So your local SEO and your on-site SEO. SEO, for if you don't know, is search engine optimization. And that's basically making it so Google can find you. So there's a couple things that can be done. Like, for example, if your website is slow to load, if your website is not mobile friendly, if your website is missing key things like meta descriptions, you're not showing up on Google. And this is I tell the story to every single one of my clients. So if you're one of them and you've heard it, I'm sorry. But think about this. A pipe bursts in your house and you need a plumber. You're not opening up Instagram and scrolling your feed, hoping a plumber shows up while you're scrolling. You may have seen one in the past, so you're going to call them, maybe like, oh, I saw their Instagram post. But realistically, what you're doing is you're going to Google, you're typing in plumber near me, and you're clicking on the very first one that showed up in the Google search because your water is pouring through your house. So the goal is to be in that top 3. And there's the percentage. I should have wrote down the numbers, but I know the top 3 get 80% of the clicks. And if you're past the top 3, that number goes down drastically. And if you're on the second page, so if you're number 11 or further, you get like 0.1% chance of people even seeing you. So
That
being
makes
in the
sense.
top 3 of Google is so, so important. So helping my clients understand the importance of getting there by nurturing their website, doing things like writing blogs, having local SEO. So posting their own listing for their Google business profile, as well as being listed on Yelp, on Bing, on Apple Maps, on anywhere in the world you could be listed, is actually like little votes on the internet for Google to say like, this person is showing up everywhere. They must be important. Let's move them up on that list. Blog posts, I mentioned that quickly, but that's the same thing. So your website is constantly getting this fresh new information about your searchable key terms. So all of a sudden, when people are putting in something about being a plumber, for example, Google's like, well, this person keeps sharing about pipes bursting in their house, so this is probably a good resource for them. That's kind of how that works. That's a very like basic like analysis of how that works. But like doing those things is going to get you more direct traffic of people already searching for what you offer, as opposed to hoping the person on Instagram scrolling wants that.
Right. Oh my gosh. All of these amazing tips right now. And that's something that business owners usually do not have the time to think about. They know they need a presence. They know it needs to be updated. They know they need the website, the contact information, the all the keywords, all of the Instagram, all the social media. But who has the time to do that, right? So your business helps make that a little bit easier for the business or organization. They kind of hand it off to you. So is there guidance usually from the business? Do they usually give you a list of things they want covered? Or do you usually go in and make recommendations on what should be highlighted, what should be done? How does that look like?
So it's different depending on the business. I have a couple of business owners who are like, I want to focus on this, like, so for example, I work with a med spa. They want to push their medical weight loss right now. And that is all the content we are pushing out. That's their social media, that's their ads, that's their blog posts. We are pushing medical weight loss everywhere. Now they're number one in Kansas City. However, that's where they're located. Now I also work with people all over. I'm not just Western New York, but they're ranking at the very top for a medical weight loss. If you go to Google and you type it in, if you are scrolling Facebook, you're seeing their ad. I mean, they're getting insane results about people coming for that service. So I also have clients that are like, I have no idea. I just please make me show up. So it just depends. Like it's a concrete company in New York City. There's another example. She's like, I don't even know how to get onto my website to edit it. If you could just take care of this, that'd be awesome. So it really just, it depends. I work with so many different clients that have different needs within their business that, some are more hands-on, some are not. It just, because they're too busy running their business, not because they don't care, but I like said that and I was like, oh, I hope that didn't come off wrong. But
but you understand that as a small business owner, previously before this is operating a brick and mortar and an online business, you understand how hard it is. Your mind is in 20 different directions. Yeah. And sometimes all of those details just get lost in the mix, or you don't exactly know how to do it. So finding the right agency, finding the right person to do that for you is crucial to showing up. And it looks like you have all of that covered, which we knowing you, Sara, we knew that you would come in and know how to make that business show up. And it looks like you are able to really make that different depending on what the business needs. And that's probably one of the highlights of your business is it's not just one cookie cutter. You're able to be flexible and understand that businesses have different needs and kind of find the right route for them to go to show up.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I do. And it's because it's just so exciting to me. Like my day's never boring. And that's like, I think what I needed is like, my like ADHD brain cannot like be doing the same thing every day. I need like something fresh, new, challenging. So like, having that like it's almost like starting a new business every other day. I know they're not my businesses, but like, that's kind of like how it feels when I'm working in it. And like, clearly, as you know, I love to pivot. So it just gives me the opportunity to do that without having to actually start a new business once a week.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. Another aspect I know that you help businesses with is growing their email list. And I can tell you that sometimes that's the bottom of the thought process of, okay, I'm collecting these emails. I don't know what to do with them. They're just going to sit in this database over here. How important is it for a business to have an email list, to grow the email list, and to use the actual email list? Tell us and walk us through that process.
Okay, so first I'm like, how much time do we have? Because like I could go off about
Go ahead, take it away.
I could talk about email for like an hour if you let me. I won't talk for an hour, but okay. So let me just give a little like preface of what's happening on Instagram right now and why Like, this is going to really explain why you need it more than anything. So Instagram just went through some huge changes in the algorithm. They're pushing threads really hard right now. So if you're not showing up on threads and Instagram, they're basically punishing you. They're releasing for business profiles a new Meta verified tiered program that ranges from $50 a month to $250 a month. So similar to that $15 for your personal profile to have that blue check mark, they're now releasing it for businesses. So businesses are going to be more expensive. They're going to promise to put you on the Discover page. They're letting you put your link to your website in your reels. However, the higher the package you're on, the more exposure you're getting. So they're pushing pay $250. Well, guess what? If you're paying nothing, you're going to get forgot. Like every time Instagram releases something that involves money, they're pushing that. So same thing that business profiles have seen for so long. If you're not running ads, you're probably not seeing great engagement and great reach because you're not giving them any money. So this is something new that they're asking for even more money from you. So you can't control that algorithm. You can't control who you see. I mean, I have profiles, my own, the Rose Hanger had 15,000 Instagram followers. And in the last couple months, now granted, I haven't given it the love it deserves, but in the last couple months, I would get like 100 people seeing my post with 15,000 followers. So think about that. If you only have 500 followers and you're seeing like 1 to 2% of people seeing that, how many people are actually seeing your stuff? You have no control. So getting them off of Instagram and onto something you own, like a mailing list, or God forbid, I'm sorry, but God forbid Instagram goes down. I mean, it's happened before, it could happen again, or, TikTok's talking about being banned. I don't think Instagram's being banned, but you never know. You don't control it. If your entire business is based on a social media platform and something happens to it, what if Facebook goes bankrupt? There goes your business. If you have an email list, you then can control when your audience sees your stuff, how often. Other than maybe going to a junk mail, you have control of that. So that's my soapbox of why you can't just depend on Instagram. It's constantly changing. They're constantly asking for more money in different ways. And if you don't have the budget to do that, email is the most cost-effective and foolproof way to get in touch with your customers.
So true. I know so many businesses that put all of their eggs in the basket of social media. And there have been days where Instagram has been down, Facebook has been down, and they're freaking out because that has been the main way that they've gotten the message out. So having that email list is mostly customers who want to do business with you, right? They already have some type of relationship with you. And so it's really easy to grow that relationship and offer them the information first. There's so many different ways you can work that email list. Maybe have it as a VIP, a priority, offer some special promotions. I'm sure you have so many different avenues to use those email lists that, the sky's the limit with that.
Absolutely. And then in my head, I was going to tell you 3 different ways that people could grow their email list. Do you want me to go into that? I was like, because people are always like, well, I have 100 people on my email list, so that doesn't do me any good. So there's some things that you can do to grow your email list. The first one is obviously a freebie. So if you're on your website, I have one that's basically it's an exchange. It's like your payment is your email address, and I'm going to give you something for free. So I have one that's I think it's 75 hooks for your videos for Instagram and TikTok. So the way to hook people in the first few seconds of your video. I don't know if it's 75, it doesn't matter. So you give me your email address, I email you right away and send you that little resource. So having something like that it's valuable, but not too valuable where you feel like you're giving away, everything for free, but it's enough where someone's willing to trade their email address for that little bit of information. So freebies are huge. Pop-ups, I know as a consumer, I find pop-ups to be a little bit annoying. However, they work. That's why they're on every website you go on. So if you're like me and you're shopping and the codes, the 10% for your email, I'm I just want to see what they have first.
And then I'm sucker for that.
I know, but
I will send my email if I see free shipping or $10 off. I'm like, here's my email address. Take it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not going to buy it today, but with 4 daughters, I'm going to buy something at some point.
Absolutely. So, I mean, yes, I know people are always like, oh, the pop-ups are so cringy. And I'm like, no, but the reason every website you go to has them is because they work.
They do.
So definitely consider doing something like a pop-up. And number 3 is my personal favorite, and it is putting a chat bot on your social media platform. So if you want to, okay, first things first, if you want to see what I'm talking about, the easiest way to see this in action is to go to my Instagram page, which is at Alpha Align Agency, and DM me the word list, LIST. Automatically, you will be getting this notification from me. It looks like I'm messaging you, and it's like, hey, thanks so much for your interest. Click get started, and I'll send you the stuff. Then I ask for your email address, which automatically integrates into my CRM once you give it to me. And then I immediately send you the thing that you asked me for. So this is the link. Actually, it'll send you the link to the app that I use to do this. I use ManyChat, which is actually a Meta verified like partner. So it's great for something like that. But if you're trying to get people off of Instagram, especially if you have a big Instagram following and you're trying to capture them, I'm sure you see this all the time. People are putting it in their captions, and it's like, comment the word blank and I'll send you the link. They're using a chatbot. They're not, I mean, if they have a smaller account, they might be actually messaging you. But most people are using a chatbot to send that directly to you without having to think about it. And it's getting that, getting them off of your social media onto your email list so that way you can nurture it. It also helps with the algorithm, because when people are commenting, DMing you, all of those things, that interaction, Instagram's like, oh man, these people are a
On
big
the
deal.
back end. Right. It's on the back end making that happen. And all of that can be automated. I think you just said if you're smaller, you may not have the resources to do that. But at some point, you definitely have to look into some type of automation for that. It takes care of everything for you.
But it's only $15 a month. So it's not like this is like a huge, crazy expensive program. Like, yeah, I mean, at $15 a month and times that by 12, whatever. But like, it's not like this is going to break the bank. So you can have all kinds of flows and automations set up so that way, anytime someone interacts with your profile, they're getting some kind of reaction or response. You can even have it. So let's say you have enough people commenting on your post that you just don't have time to respond. You can say, anytime someone comments on my post, say thanks so much. Like, and you could just have like all these triggers and things. It takes some time to set up. However, like, to me, this is like a game changer when it comes to using that social media platform to build the email list that you can control. So all of mine, when I'm implementing this and in my, actually doing it, the whole goal of all of my ManyChat setups is to get their email list. So I'll give them a free resource. I'll send them a, Canva template, whatever I have to give them to give me their email address. So that way, when it comes time for me to do some kind of campaign, I have access to them, and it's guaranteed.
Such great information. I can already think of several businesses that could use this right off the bat because I know they have some information to give out, and just an easy thing to make happen on their website or their social media. It sounds like this is the avenue for a lot of businesses to look into. Well, we're getting towards the end, but I want to just talk quickly about personal branding and your business branding. How important is that? And how do you go about helping a customer figure out what their brand is?
So it is honestly my favorite thing, but it's always such a challenge because, your personal brand is, and your business brand is not necessarily something you want to change. So you have to love it. And to be honest, my business, Alpha, is probably going through a full rebrand very soon. I am pivoting the name. I'm pivoting a little bit of what we do. You don't know what you don't know. And a year in, I'm like, I think I need to pivot a little bit. However, the goal is to not have to do that. This is a big undertaking. It's almost like I'm starting over again. And especially as an S Corp, I'm actually like calling my accountant, like, what do I need to do? There's a lot that goes into trying to do a rebrand. So having a logo, having a website, having color schemes, fonts, things you love and you know that you're going to love forever, that are timeless, classic, or really feeling on brand for how you want your business to make people feel is so important. I mean, for my customers that I do that with, where I'm doing their logo, their website, their brand kit, and really just building them from nothing, I go through and I give them like, this insanely long survey where I'm asking them things from as basic as like, when did you start, to like, how do you want this to make people feel when they see their website? And like, just like, the emotions you want to be attached to it. And, do you want this to feel like luxury? Do you want it to feel fun? Do you want it to feel light? Like there's so many different avenues you could go with a business as to how it feels when you like look at it. And then I end up building you a complete brand kit. So the brand kit includes your logo, obviously your website, fonts, the ways to use fonts, displays of fonts on, like, let's say you were going to ever put your font on a can for some reason. I would give you a mock-up of how it would look on a can, like where there's, exactly how your brand is going to look everywhere. How will it look in your Instagram bio? I mean, people forget. They come to me, they have these logos that are this long. I can't even see me, but they're like this long, and the circle is like this, and it's like they don't have a version of think Nike. I always say this. Nike has their big logo. They have their little bit smaller logo, and then they have their icon, the swoosh. And everyone knows what that brand is without having to even see the words Nike. Same thing, Lululemon. They have their little icon. So trying to come up with something that's an identifier for your brand, I feel like I just went off on a tangent, but that's an identifier for your brand is so important. So that way you can be identified regardless of if you have your full logo on the front of your building or a tiny little box somewhere on Instagram. And then you have to think, am I ever going to print this? Am I ever going to have to put it on a t-shirt? Do I have all the correct files? Do I have a vectorized version of this? The things that, like, when you make it in Canva, you don't think, oh, wait, when I go to print this at a sign shop, they need a vector version of this. And I can't do that without either, Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or one of those softwares. Now what do I do? And they're like, well, we can't use your PNG file to make it 5 feet long. So I just make sure you're fully set up with everything you would need for your business, for your branding, for any purpose you would need this stuff for. You're set. So I don't know. Like I said, I was going on a little bit of a tangent, but people forget, oh, I just made this in Canva. Isn't it cute? And I'm like, yeah, it's adorable. But first of all, how many people are going to have that logo because you use a Canva template? And second of all, what happens when you want to make a sign that needs to be 5 feet long on the front of your building? You don't have a version that is high quality enough to use that.
So true.
So yeah,
our chamber. I love that you went through the branding. I'm sorry, there's a little bit of delay. We're on StreamYard today, so this is the second time we've used this program. It's working out so great. So we're not actually in the same room today, and it's so I apologize for a little bit of that. But I have to tell you, that the chamber went through, you were part of it, the rebrand 1 year ago. And all of the things that you had mentioned were all things that we had to think about. And I'll tell you, that's not my wheelhouse. So when I was being asked questions about, how do you want this to feel? And what is the tone? And all of these words that are associated with our brand. Wow, I didn't realize the depth that goes into thinking of a brand. And it's more than just colors and more than just a piece of artwork. It really goes very deep into how, you can brand yourself or your business. So such a great opportunity for somebody to jump on and meet with you to figure out who they are, what their business stands for, what it's going to show up as, what it's going to look like. And you're right. Those logos sometimes have to fit in a square, a circle, a rectangle, an oval. It has to be vertical, horizontal, sideways. And, who really thinks of that when you're just trying to run a business day to day? That's where, Sara, that's where you come in and kind of help them make it all full circle with what they are able to provide for their customers. It's such a great opportunity for somebody to take a look at your website and find out what you can offer them. Okay, we covered a lot. Let's just say that there's a business or organization that's not quite ready. They don't have a budget yet for figuring out marketing, or they know they need this help, but they can't do it yet. What's one thing that you could recommend out of everything we just talked about? What's one thing that you can recommend a business to make a first step to make sure that they're showing up in the way that they can? What's one thing they can do very easy to make that first step happen?
Can I give two? Because I have two really, really easy ones.
Give two.
Okay. So the first one is put your business listing everywhere you can. So if you're not already on Yelp or Bing or Apple Maps or Google Business Profile or anywhere that you can put your business, the Better Business Bureau, literally anywhere that will take your business, put it on there, but you need to make sure your NAP is accurate, which is your name, address, all of that, phone number, all have to be the same everywhere you list it. But there's a ton of places you can just throw your business on for free. Take advantage of it. And number two is show up online consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Post something. It's better than nothing. done is better than perfect. Just put something out there because someone's still going to see it, and you never know, that could be your next biggest client.
True.
So just show up consistently. Like even when you don't feel like it, even when you're tired, just post something. I'm sure you have something on your phone or a video that you took ages ago that you could throw some music on. It doesn't have to be Instagram perfect. Done is better than nothing.
I love that. I love that. Done is better than nothing. So many times I have to remind myself that. And our chamber is no different. We're an organization, we're a membership organization, but we still have to show up as well. And I can tell you sometimes sitting there at the beginning of the week, like, oh my gosh, I have to create content. But when you look through all of the programs and things that you already do, if you're able to capture that, take a photo, take a video, it becomes a little bit easier to put your name, put what you do out there. It doesn't take a lot of thought process when you have those photos and those videos that you just snapped or took a quick picture of something that was happening. You're right. You can sit back and say, oh yeah, remember when we did this? Let's post this. Let's tell a story about what happened here because it was something great. So I love that advice. It doesn't have to be completely thought through. Just what is that? Done is better than.
Done done is better than nothing. Or what did I even say?
Done is better. Good. We get it. We get it. What you said.
I don't even know what I said, but
We'll go back. But you're right. Just get it out there. Get it out there and get your business to a point where you're showing up where you can. And I sincerely thank you for joining us today, Sara. You gave a lot of information that is very helpful for businesses. How can people find you right now? I love that you're looking at your own business and going through some type of rebrand with the way that you're showing up, because it does show that you evolve, people evolve, businesses evolve. And it's important to always just kind of know what you're doing, know what you're best at. But how can they find you in the meantime?
So right now you can find me at www.alphaalignAgency.com. Don't forget the 2 A's. That's a big reason for my rebrand. My name is too long to type. Same thing on Instagram at Alpha Align Agency. And my personal account is Sara_Liberale. If you want to just follow my personal stuff, I do share a bunch of business tips and stuff on there as well. And I'm also on TikTok. I mean, I'm everywhere. If Threads, you name it. It's either Sara Liberale or Alpha Align Agency. You can find me on one of them. So yeah, I would love if you would take a second and follow me. I do share a bunch of business information, business tips. I'm not, in your face trying to sell you stuff. I'm just doing what we did today and telling you what I find that's working because I spend all day researching this stuff.
Love that you took the time for us to share these tips. And I have to say that Sara is a very active board member with the chamber. She is there providing a lot of input, insight, and it's been great having her experience. Everything from an educator to a brick and mortar retailer to a marketer, digital marketing. It's the experience that you have has been such a tremendous support to the chamber. So I sincerely thank you, Sara, for everything that you do. And I can't wait to see the next thing for the Alpha Align Agency.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for the wonderful compliment. That actually means a lot. I appreciate it.
Love it. Got to tell you, I mean, I'm just going to tell our listeners, it's when I first met Sara, we found her the location, her first brick and mortar location. We found her the second brick and mortar location. We helped get to the third brick and mortar location. So when I tell you I've seen the evolution of Sara with, retail into where she is now, it's been such a treat watching. It just really has. And that's something that the chamber loves seeing is just growth of companies, growth of, what can come. And you never know where, your first business will take you. It might take you somewhere else. It might grow and, you never know.
I have a vivid memory of me pacing my living room in my old house in the falls. And I'm on the phone with you and you're telling me you found me a place. And it was October of 2018. And I literally was like walking laps because I was so excited, but couldn't jump and act like a lunatic because I'm on the phone with this basically stranger being like, I think I have a spot for your store. And I was like, ah! So thank you. Honestly, the chamber it was a huge role into me being able to grow and scale my business to what I did. I honestly would have probably, who knows if I would have ever even moved out of my living room if it wasn't for you guys, honestly.
Well, we're glad that you are where you are today. And again, thank you so much for spending the time with us. If you follow us on YouTube, on the video, this will be on our YouTube channel, but you can follow this podcast on Apple or Spotify. Sara also has a podcast, so check her out. Sara, where's your podcast located? I think we can find it on your website. Where else?
Yeah, it's everywhere you can listen to podcasts. The same thing, Spotify, Apple, all the places. It's the Alpha Line podcast. Again, maybe changing in the future, but for now, that is what it is.
Thank you. And everyone, I hope you have a great rest of the week. We'll join in next week with the Niagara Gospel Rescue Mission, and John Cooper, who's the executive director, will be joining us. So excited to showcase our businesses, our organizations, our members. Join us again next week on the Support Local Everything podcast. I'm Jennifer Pauly, the president, and we appreciate you following us. Share our podcast with your network if you can. It helps us grow, and it helps us bring on more guests and just have a fun time. Thank you so much.